Welcome to the Clarksville Now candidate forums for the November 2024 elections. I'm Editor-in-Chief Chris Smith, and today we're talking about Tennessee State Senate District 22, which covers Montgomery County. The candidates were given the questions ahead of time so that they can prepare. The candidates are Senator Bill Powers and City Councilwoman Karen Reynolds. Welcome, and let's get started. Ms. Reynolds, let's hear a little bit about your qualifications to serve in the General Assembly.
All right. Well, I would first like to say thank you for hosting this event. It's important for the community. I'm Karen Reynolds. I am a retired Army Master Sergeant. I chose to move to Clarksville 22 years ago to raise my two sons because of the excellent schools and access to health care. I served my country, and now I'm serving my community as a city council person. I've worked on critical issues at the council, such as walkability. I participated in creating the mental health court, as well as affordable housing, and I am known to stand up for residents and their rights as we continue to infill in our community. I've been recognized for being transparent, doing my homework, and always putting people before politics. Whether it's advocating for walkability in our neighborhoods or kitchen table issues, I am committed to strengthening our community. As a mom, a union member, and a grassroots candidate, I know what it means to fight for working families. I'm ready to bring that fight to the state legislature.
Thank you. So probably Clarksville's biggest growing pain has been with our lack of road infrastructure, and most of the problems are on state highways. What would you do to ensure that we get adequate state highway funding?
I do agree with that. It is quite an inadequate funding model that we have in our state, and I recognize that as someone who serves on the Streets, Transportation, and Garage Committee for our city. I've seen firsthand how these issues affect our community. The lack of investment from the state is unacceptable. My first priority in Nashville will be to fight for Clarksville's fair share of transportation funding. We need to ensure that TDOT prioritizes our most critical projects and improves our traffic flow. Our city recently received a federal grant from President Biden's Build Back Better plan, showing that federal support is available when we actively seek it. At the state level, I will ensure that we work to continue to seek those dollars, not only at the community level, but also at the state level. My opponent likes to call these state and federal funds free money, but I remind everyone in the community that this is our tax dollars at work, and we need to work to make sure that we get our fair share for Clarksville. I also feel very strongly that as a state, we need to stop doing the easy wrong thing, and that's shoving any extra money into an oversized rainy day fund instead of doing the hard legislative work to take care of our communities. To make this happen, I'll push for stronger collaboration between local and state governments. I've already been doing that kind of work with our Association of Realtors while I'm working on affordable housing, and these types of partnerships will help me when I get to the state level. It isn't just about convenience, the roads. It is about safety, economic growth, and supporting the deployability of Fort Campbell. It's time that we get a representative who won't just accept what Nashville is willing to give us, but will advocate for Clarksville and what we deserve. The state has been promising improvements for years. It's my goal is to make sure that we put these promises into action.
Thank you. Tennessee, as you know, has banned access to abortion, but there have been calls to allow some exceptions. Do you support any exceptions to that abortion ban, and why or why not?
I want the public to know that I strongly oppose the abortion ban. I want to share a couple stories or incidents that I've heard while knocking doors in the community. I met a woman who's on active duty who recently had her first child with IVF. After there was complications during the pregnancy, and she is facing a deployment that she must go to. So that puts her 2 years out before she can try again. She is terrified that while she is serving our nation, we in Tennessee will be taking away her freedom and her ability to plan a family. I've also heard from so many young women and families that they are going to leave the state before they have a child or before they have a second pregnancy because they are afraid if there's complications, they will be denied health care. This ban is cruel. It is reckless. It lacks exceptions for rape, incest, and severe health conditions. And it is very vague in the exceptions to life that it allows, that it makes providers wait until the last minute, sometimes too late. Texas has reported a 56% increase in maternal mortality rate since they have implemented their ban. Nationwide, there is an 11% increase in the number of women dying in childbirth. This is not pro-life. It's harmful to women and families. It's outrageous that essential health care is being denied to women by a law crafted by politicians who didn't even coordinate with healthcare providers. As a mother who's experienced 3 pregnancies and one spontaneous abortion, I understand the risks. We as women are willing to risk our lives to have families. This abortion ban is an affront to women's freedom and our dignity, and I'm outraged by the blatant disrespect of lawmakers in this state.
Thank you. While Governor Bill Lee's school voucher program died in the last session, it's likely to come back again this time around. Do you support school vouchers, and why or why not?
I do not support the school vouchers, and I never have. As I mentioned, I moved here for education, and I loved our schools. Bill Lee's voucher plan is not about freedom or choice of parents. It's about shifting public dollars to private, often out-of-state corporations. These schools will be able to choose the children who attend their schools. Parents will not be the ones in charge. This law will also leave our most vulnerable residents behind and our children. These corporations and the law that they crafted make sure that they don't have to follow the same rules. They're exempt from the 3rd grade retention law as well as from standardized testing. This is a system designed to benefit the few at the expense of many. I recently hosted an event with local teachers, and they were clear about what schools needed: smaller classroom sizes, less high-stake testing, and leadership that understands education, not politics. Vouchers do nothing to address these issues. Instead of listening to educators and addressing real challenges in our schools, this program shifts money from public education into the hands of private interests. Let's be real. The voucher program is about transferring our money to corporations and defunding our public schools. We need to listen to the experts, let our teachers teach, and ensure that we have good administrators in our schools. They know what works. If we want to improve education in Tennessee, we should be investing in our public schools, not defunding them. It's time to focus on fully funding, raising teacher pay, which is 44th in the nation, and our funding is currently 45th out of 50. We should work to reduce classroom sizes and ensure that those in charge understand education policy and have real experience in education, not just a political agenda. Our public schools are the foundation of our community, and they deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other issues that you wanted to bring up or any closing comments?
Yes. As we address the pressing issues in Tennessee, we must recognize the gap between the reality that many Tennesseans face. We are number 1 in growth, but in the nation we are also number 1 in medical bankruptcies. This contradiction really emphasizes the policy of the Republican supermajority. They've had 14 years for improving everyday lives of Tennesseans, and they have continued to fail. Current laws have created maternal health care deserts and prioritized political agendas over health care of our families. Despite claiming to be pro-life, we have seen an increase in infant and maternal mortality rate, while the lifespan of Tennesseans has decreased due to inadequate access to health care. Rural hospital closures have left most, if not most, of our rural areas without access to essential services. We have to work to take care of Tennesseans, not just talk about what we're going to do and then do something different. We have forfeited over $20 billion in federal health dollars and federal taxes by refusing to expand Medicaid. Instead of enhancing healthcare system, the current leadership has defunded it. making it harder for all of us to access health care. As a single parent who wore a pair of combat boots, I understand the challenges of balancing a budget and making tough choices. I've shown the courage, candor, and commitment to transparency and to everyday Tennesseans to fight for what's right. Let's prioritize people over politics and really pursue policies that are in the best interest of general community.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for stepping up as a community leader. A reminder that Election Day is on November 5th, and early voting will begin on October 16. Be sure to vote.